Hello everyone, and welcome to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Alana, and I am a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. I'd like to begin our latest workshop today by demonstrating a fun taste test activity for you to try at home. For this activity, you will need 2 to 3 plates, salt-free or unsalted pretzels, olive oil, and a selection of 2 to 3 spices, herbs, or low-sodium seasonings. Before beginning this activity, be sure to wash your hands using soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. After we've done that, we can gather our materials and begin our taste test activity. Set out 2 to 3 plates, depending on how many different spices, herbs, or seasonings you chose. Place a few unsalted pretzels on each plate. Drizzle olive oil on the pretzels, or dip each pretzel in a small cup of olive oil. Then, sprinkle some of your chosen seasonings on each pretzel. I chose garlic powder, low-sodium taco seasoning, and onion powder. Use any combination of seasonings that are available to you. Lastly, sample your seasoned pretzels to find out which one is your favorite. Give this activity a try with your friends and family. See if they can guess what the different seasonings are that you used, or come up with seasoning combinations to try together. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought of this activity. What spices, herbs, or seasonings would you use on your pretzels? Feel free to share what your favorite was if you have tried this activity. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment on our posts or send our nutrition educators a direct message with any additional questions, comments, or concerns.
Welcome everyone to Commission on Economic Opportunity's Nutrition Educational Food Channel. My name is Kathy and I'm a nutrition educator with Commission on Economic Opportunity. And today we will be talking about healthy food choices that taste great. In this lesson, we will talk about limiting purchase of processed meats such as bacon, hot dogs, and sausage that tend to be higher in sodium and saturated fats. We're going to select legumes like black or kidney beans or tofu as the main dish to be your main protein for your meal. And we're going to suggest trying seafood instead of meat or poultry, and you should aim for 8 ounces of seafood a week. We will also discuss how to choose whole grain cereals that do not have frostings or added sugars. And we're going to encourage you not to forget about frozen canned buy 100% fruit juice or dried fruits when you cannot get fresh fruits. We will also recommend drinking water, fat-free or low-fat milk, fruit juice that is 100% fruit juice versus soda, sports drinks, energy drinks, and those fruited drinks which can be so much higher in sodium and sugar. And for dessert, why don't you try 100% juice fruit bar versus ice cream, cake, pie, or you may split a dessert with a family member or a friend. Everything you eat and drink over time does matter. The right foods can help you be healthier now and in the future. And by doing so, making small changes such as making half your plate fruits and vegetables, making half of your grains whole grains, using low-fat dairy products, varying your proteins, and drinking and eating less food and beverage with lower in sodium, saturated and trans fats, and less sugars. Healthy eating and physical activity are the building blocks to a healthier life. Physical activity guidelines recommend adults be physically active at least 2 hours and 30 minutes each week, and children need 60 minutes a day of activity. Here's a tip. Stay physically active by doing such activities such as walking, dancing, bicycling, or gardening, and reduce the amount of time that you are sitting. Make small changes to choose from. Identify at least 3 spices, herbs, or salt-free seasonings that allow flavor without adding the extra sodium, fat, or added sugars. Modify a recipe with a bit of a healthier option. And to do so, you can select lean cuts of beef or pork or lean ground beef. 92% lean beef or higher and skinless turkey or chicken are excellent options. Following the USDA guidelines of My Plate, you should use fruits and vegetables should fill up half your plate and focus on whole fruits and vary your vegetables. Make half of your grains whole grains, select low-fat or fat-free dairy products, vary your protein routine, and drink less sodium, saturated fats, and trans fats, and skip those extra added sugar drinks. And as always, we thank you for tuning in and watching our nutrition education channel. This workshop is part of the Eat Healthy, Be Active curricula. As always, should you have any questions, issues, or concerns, please feel free to comment below. Thank you for tuning in.
Here are some tips that you can use when creating meals that are healthy yet still taste great.
Select lean cuts of beef or pork or lean ground beef, 92% lean or higher, and skinless turkey or chicken breasts. Compare sodium in foods like soup, bread, and frozen meals, and choose foods with lower numbers. Limit purchase of processed meats such as bacon, sausage, and hot dogs, which tend to be higher in sodium and saturated fats. Choose legumes or tofu as a main dish or part of a meal as a protein source. Try seafood instead of meat or poultry. Aim to eat 8 ounces of seafood each week. Choose whole grain cereals that don't have frosting or other added sugars. Add flavor to hot whole grain cereals with raisins, vanilla, and/or cinnamon. Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables, especially red, orange, and green, which are nutrient-packed, and legumes. Remember, all forms of fruits and vegetables count. When choosing frozen vegetables, choose vegetables that are frozen without sauces. Choose canned vegetables that are lower in sodium. When choosing canned fruit, find canned fruit with the lowest amount of added sugars. Instead of soda, sports drinks, energy drinks, fruit drinks, and other sugar-sweetened beverages, swap them out for water, fat-free or low-fat milk, fortified soy milk, or 100% fruit or vegetable juice. Instead of regular ice cream or a big piece of cake, pie, or cookies, try a piece of fresh fruit or a frozen 100% fruit bar, or split a smaller dessert with a friend. Do you think you will make any of these changes to your future meals? What herbs or spices do you use or will you consider using more in your cooking? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions or comments regarding this content, please reach out to one of our nutrition educators.
Hello and welcome back to our Eat Healthy, Be Active lesson. This session is called Healthy Can Be Tasty. My name is Alicia and I am a nutrition educator with the CEO. There are many ways to have food taste good while still being healthy. Let's watch a short clip from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to learn more.
Food should be healthy.
Food has to taste good.
Healthy.
Tasty.
Healthy.
Tasty.
So who says
You can't have both? Yes, foods can be both healthy and tasty. Leslie and I have found ways of keeping all the flavor in foods while still eating healthy.
Yes, instead of buying processed meats like cold cuts or hot dogs.
Loaded with salt. We're making more meals from scratch using lean meats and spiced with herbs. We use fresh or frozen veggies or canned vegetables with no sodium added. We've lowered the salt,
but not the taste.
To cut back on sugar, we replace soft drinks with water or unsweetened iced tea, flavored with lemon.
Thanks, Russell. Again, that's no sugar, but plenty of taste, and no extra calories either.
Dessert, a piece of fresh fruit, and my sweet tooth is happy. And I actually prefer it to sugary cookies and pies.
What did you say?
Nothing, honey.
Maybe the biggest change was choosing healthier fats.
Now we stir fry, broil, bake, and grill lean meats. We add flavor to our fish with herbs, veggies, and a bit of healthy oil like olive or canola. So we brush on the oil, add the tomatoes, the green peppers, the onions, and sprinkle on the herbs.
Pop it in the oven, easy and delicious.
Now, I never thought I'd say this, but eating healthy does not mean losing flavor. If I can do it, you can too.
For more information, go to www.health.gov/dietary guidelines. This presentation was brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
After watching the video, how do you make your food healthy but tasty? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned to learn more. If you have any comments or questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to one of the nutrition educators. Thank you.
Hi everyone, let's take a stretch break. We're going to play a bingo game where we stand up and get moving around. Attached in the post description, you'll find a link to the bingo card. This is what the bingo card looks like. We are going to walk around and see how many squares we can cross off. So let's stand up and start asking our family members, friends, and neighbors. Go ahead and start walking around. Let's start off with finding someone who has fruit for dessert often. When you're done, come back and let us know how you did. How many were you able to cross off? Did you fill a whole row? Let us know in the comment section. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program through the PA Department of Human Services.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Alana, and I am a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. For the next part of our lesson, I'm going to take some time to review the sections of the handout, Tips for Healthier Choices. You can find this handout link in the description of this video. Be sure to grab yourself a copy to follow along and ask any questions you have about the content on the handout in the comments section below. The Tips for Healthier Choices handout provides examples of foods that are higher in calories, saturated in trans fats, sodium, and added sugars, and suggests alternatives for you to try that are lower in each of these areas, making them healthier choices if the alternative food items are accessible to you. The list is not exhaustive, so don't forget you can also check food labels in the store to compare calories, saturated and trans fats, sodium, and added sugars in products. The first section on our handout covers various meats, fish, and poultry. If you usually buy cold cuts or lunch meat, such as bologna or salami, try low-fat or reduced sodium cold cuts instead, such as turkey and chicken. If you usually buy bacon or sausage, try switching it out every now and then for Canadian bacon or lean ham. Try to buy lean ground beef that's at least 92% lean, or lean ground turkey. If you usually buy beef chuck, rib, or brisket, try to switch it out for beef round or loin that's been trimmed of external fat. If you usually buy frozen breaded fish or fried fish, try instead fish or shellfish that is unbreaded. Fresh, frozen, or canned in water are all acceptable options. If you usually buy chorizo sausage, try instead turkey sausage or vegetarian sausage made with tofu. The next section on our handout covers various cereals, grains, and pastas, and their sauces. If you usually buy pasta accompanied with a white sauce such as Alfredo, try instead whole grain pasta with a red sauce such as marinara. If you usually buy pasta with a cheese sauce, try instead whole grain pasta with vegetables. Lastly, if you usually buy white rice or pasta, try instead brown rice or whole grain pasta. The next section on our handout covers several baked goods. If you usually buy croissants or brioche buns, try to substitute whole grain rolls when possible. If you usually buy donuts, sweet rolls, muffins, scones, or pastries, try to substitute whole grain English muffins or mini bagels every so often. If you usually buy party crackers made with a refined flour, try instead whole grain crackers, lower in sodium, or air-popped popcorn. If you usually buy frosted cake or pound cake, try to accompany your cake with fruit. Fresh, frozen, or canned without added sugars are all excellent options. The next section on our handout covers various dairy products. If you usually buy whole milk products, try switching to fat-free or skim milk products, low-fat milk, or a fortified soy milk. If you usually buy ice cream, try to find low-fat or fat-free and no sugar added versions of ice cream or a frozen yogurt. If you usually buy sour cream, try to substitute it with plain fat-free or low-fat Greek yogurt or fat-free sour cream. If you usually buy cream cheese, try a Neufchâtel or light cream cheese or fat-free cream cheese. If you usually buy full-fat cheeses, try to purchase reduced calorie or fat-free cheese, part skim cheese, or low-calorie processed cheese instead. If you usually buy regular cottage cheese, try to find fat-free or low-fat cottage cheese instead. Similarly, if you usually buy whole milk ricotta cheese, try to find part skim milk ricotta cheese instead. Lastly, if you usually buy full-fat coffee cream or non-dairy creamer, try to look for low-fat or fat-free milk or non-fat dry milk powder instead. The next section on our handout covers several fats, oils, and salad dressings. If you usually buy stick margarine or butter, try to find instead olive oil or tub margarine with no trans fat. If you usually use regular mayonnaise, try instead mustard or fat-free or light mayonnaise. If you usually buy cream-based salad dressings, try instead oil-based salad dressings, such as vinaigrette, lemon juice, or wine vinegar. Lastly, if you usually use shortening or lard for pan cooking, try instead a small amount of oil or nonstick cooking spray for stir-frying or sautéing. The last section on our handout is labeled Miscellaneous Foods. The foods listed include various soups, gravies, and salted or flavored nuts and seeds. If you usually buy canned cream soups, try instead canned broth-based soups that are low in sodium. If you usually buy gravy made with fat or milk, try instead gravy mixes that are made with water or homemade with the fat skimmed off and fat-free milk. And lastly, if you usually buy salted or flavored nuts and seeds, try instead unsalted plain nuts and seeds. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us today as we reviewed the Tips for Healthier Choices handout. Don't forget to grab your copy of the handout linked in the description of this video, and be sure to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about our lesson today.
Welcome to our next lesson on the Nutrition Facts label. The USDA created a new label that makes it easier for individuals to make informed food choices. Today we are going to explore the Nutrition Facts label more in depth, so let's get started. First, let's take a look at the serving per container at the top. Servings per container includes the total number of servings in the entire food package. This helps to determine if there is more than one serving per container.
Next, we have serving size, which is also listed at the top of the label. Serving size is based on the serving that is customarily eaten at one time. Be sure to take a look at the serving size because the nutrition facts label is based on the serving size listed at the top of the label. Let's take a look at calories. Calories refers to the total number of calories or energy included in the serving size listed on the label. This includes energy provided from fat, carbohydrates, protein, and alcohol. Percent daily value is listed on the right-hand side. Percent daily value illustrates how much a nutrient in one serving contributes to a total daily diet. Use the percent daily value to determine if the food is high or low in a specific nutrient. A general rule to follow is listed below. 5% daily value or less equals low in a nutrient. 20% daily value or more equals high in a nutrient. This leads us to the last part of the nutrition label, which is nutrients. The nutrition facts label can tell you how much of a specific nutrient is in one serving of food. Use this to choose foods that are lower in nutrients you want less of and higher in nutrients you want more of. Let's take a moment to look at an example. Take a look at total fat. In this 1.5 cup serving, what is the percent daily value of total fat? Is this high or is it low? The answer is 5% daily value. This is considered to be low because 5% or less is low in a nutrient. When reading the nutrition facts label, be sure to limit saturated fat, trans fat, sodium, and added sugars. Be sure to consume plenty of fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. The dietary guidelines recommends a healthy eating pattern low in sodium, saturated in trans fats, and added sugars. Reduce daily sodium intake to less than 2,300 milligrams per day. Aim to consume less than 10% of daily calories from saturated fats. Consume less than 10% of calories from added sugars, and limit foods that contain trans fat. Be sure to take a look at our handout in the link below. Thank you for joining us today and have a great day.
Hello and welcome back to our workshop. My name is Alicia and I am a nutrition educator with the CEO. Today we are going to be discussing cutting down on sodium. What is sodium? Sodium is a mineral and most of the sodium in our foods comes from salt. We all need a little sodium to stay healthy. Eating too much sodium can lead to high blood pressure or hypertension. High blood pressure can raise your risk of having a heart attack or stroke. The good news is that cutting down on sodium can help lower your blood pressure or keep it at a healthy level. Let's take a look at the key recommendations for adults and children 14 years and older. As you can see from the chart, it is recommended that adults and children 14 and up get less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day. Adults with hypertension or prehypertension can lower their blood pressure even more by limiting sodium intake to 1,500 milligrams a day. Now let's talk about some foods that are high in sodium. Whenever you add salt to your food, you're adding sodium. But the dietary guidelines show that most of the sodium we eat doesn't come from our salt shakers. Sodium is used by food manufacturers and others who prepare food as a preservative and to add flavor, cure meat, thicken sauces, and keep some foods moist. That's why sodium is found in almost all of the processed and prepared foods we buy. Dishes with many ingredients such as pizza, casseroles, burgers, tacos, and sandwiches tend to have ingredients that are high in sodium. When making these dishes, you want to limit the ingredients that are often high in sodium, such as processed meats, poultry, and seafood, like deli meats, sausages, pepperoni, and sardines, sauces, dressings, and condiments, and instant products like flavored rice, instant noodles, and ready-made pasta. Keep in mind that even foods that don't taste salty may still be adding sodium to your diet, especially if you eat them often. For example, the sodium found in foods like bread and tortillas, cheese, and condiments can add up. Now let's discuss what is the difference between sodium and salt. Since most sodium in our foods come from salt, people usually use the two words as if they're the same thing. They're actually a little different. Sodium is a mineral that's in salt, and salt is also known as sodium chloride. Now, how can I cut down on sodium? We want to pay close attention to the foods that you choose when you're grocery shopping and eating out. Let's look at 5 small changes you can make. One small change is to check the nutrition facts label. Before you buy a food or drink, look for the amount of sodium on the nutrition facts label. Compare the different options and choose the one with the lowest amount. You can also look out for foods that are labeled low sodium, reduced sodium, or no salt added. But keep in mind that sometimes food without these labels are still lower in sodium, so it's always a good idea to check the nutrition facts label. The second small change you can make is to find out what foods you eat have the most sodium. You could check out the top 10 sources on the CDC website. They also are right here and include breads and rolls, pizza, sandwiches, cold cuts and cured meats, soups, burritos and tacos, savory snacks, chicken, cheese, and eggs and omelets. For dishes higher in sodium, consider eating smaller portions or eating them less often. The third small change is to make healthy shifts. Replace higher sodium foods or ingredients with healthier options. For example, you can snack on unsalted nuts instead of snacks like salted pretzels. Choose fresh, skinless chicken and turkey, lean meats, and seafood instead of processed deli meats and sausages. And you could also go for fresh, frozen vegetables without sauce and canned vegetables with the least amount of sodium. Another small change is to cook more at home. Making your own meals instead of eating at restaurants or buying packaged foods is a great way to eat less sodium because you are in control. To add flavor, use spices instead of salt or packaged sauces and mixes. A fifth small change you can make is to consider the dietary approaches to stop hypertension or DASH eating plan. Based on scientific evidence, the DASH plan helps limit sodium and unhealthy fats. Think about following the DASH eating plan at the lower sodium option of 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day if you have hypertension or pre-hypertension. What small change will you try to reduce your sodium? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you had learned a tip that you can try to reduce your sodium intake. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out to us directly. Thank you.
Today, we will be discussing tips to reduce sodium intake. First, to reduce sodium intake, read the nutrition facts label. Let's take a look at a label together. As you can see, sodium is expressed in milligrams and as a percentage. This tells us how much sodium is in our foods. When purchasing canned foods, select those labeled as low sodium, reduced sodium, or no salt added. You can find the label no salt added or reduced sodium on the front of the can. Our third tip includes gradually reduce the amount of sodium in your foods. Your taste for salt will begin to change over time. In addition, consume more fresh foods such as fruits and vegetables and fewer processed foods that are higher in sodium. Eat more home-prepared foods where you have more control over sodium. Use little or no salt added seasonings when cooking. Examples of seasonings without salt include fresh basil, cinnamon, and parsley. If you're interested in seeing a list of other seasonings without salt, please check out our handout. Lastly, when eating at restaurants, ask your waiter or waitress for no salt or low sodium options on their menu. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Hello and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Autumn and I'm a student intern with the CEO. Today we will be discussing 10 tips to consider when making your MyPlate. Number 1. Find your healthy eating style. Creating a healthy style means regularly eating a variety of foods to get the nutrients and calories you need. Number 2. Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Eating colorful fruits and vegetables is important because they provide vitamins and minerals and most are low in calories. Number 3. Focus on whole fruits. Choose whole fruits, fresh, frozen, dried, or canned in 100% juice. Enjoy fruit with meals, snacks, or even as a dessert. Number 4. Vary your veggies. Try adding fresh, frozen, or canned vegetables to salads, sides, and main dishes. Choose a variety of colorful vegetables prepared in healthful ways. Steamed, sautéed, roasted, or just enjoying them raw are ways to eat your vegetables. Number 5. Make half of your grains whole grains. Look for whole grains listed first or second in the ingredient list. Try oatmeal, popcorn, whole grain bread, and brown rice. Limit grain-based desserts and snacks. These include cake, cookies, and even pastries. Number 6. Move to low-fat or fat-free milk or yogurt. Choose low-fat or fat-free milk, yogurt, and soy beverages, such as soy milk, to cut back on saturated fat. Replace sour cream, and regular cheese with low-fat yogurt, milk, and cheese. Number 7. Vary your protein routine. Mix up your protein foods to include seafood, beans, and peas, and unsalted nuts and seeds, soy products, eggs, and lean meats and poultry. Try main dishes made with beans or seafood like tuna salad or bean chili. Number 8. Drink and eat beverages and food with less sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars. Use the nutrition facts label and ingredients list to limit items high in sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars. Choose vegetable oils instead of butter, and oil-based sauces and dips instead of ones with butter, cream, or cheese. Number 9. Drink water instead of sugary drinks. Water is calorie-free. Non-diet soda, energy, or sports drinks and other sugar-sweetened beverages contain a lot of calories from added sugars and have few nutrients. Number 10. Everything you eat and drink matters. The right mix of foods can help you be healthier now and in the future. Turn small changes into your My Plate, My Wins. Now it is time for an activity. Today you are going to create your own My Plate. The materials needed for this project are a paper or styrofoam plate and writing utensils such as pencils, markers, or crayons, or you may use colored construction paper. Step 1. Take your plate and draw a line down the middle to make 2 sections. On the left side of your plate, outline part of it in green and the other part in red. The green part will be your vegetables, and it should be slightly bigger than the red section. The red section is the fruit section. Step number 2. On the right side, outline one section for grains in orange, and the section below it purple for protein. The orange part will be slightly bigger than the purple part. Step number 2. Step number 3. Create one more circle on the side of your plate. This circle is blue and represents your dairy. Now, let's create meals using My Plate. Pause this video and draw the pictures of foods that you want on your My Plate. Remember, when making your My Plate, the goal is making half of your plate fruits and vegetables and the other half a combination of whole grains and proteins. Now I will show you some of my Plate meals. For breakfast, I'm going to have scrambled eggs as my protein, roasted potatoes as my vegetable, fruit salad for my fruit, and 2 slices of whole grain toast for my whole grain section, and a glass of low-fat milk to drink. For lunch, I'm going to have a grilled chicken salad with lettuce, tomatoes, onions, peppers, and olives. This will be a part of my protein and vegetables on my Plate. I will have a side of canned peaches for my fruit and whole grain crackers for the whole grain section. I will then have a side of low-fat plain yogurt for my dairy. For dinner, I am going to have whole grain pasta with tomato sauce and meatballs made with 93% lean ground beef. I will match this with a side of roasted vegetables and applesauce. I will top off my pasta and meatballs with Parmesan cheese from the dairy group. Some foods that you could have also included could be frozen fruit, 100% fruit or vegetable juice, canned frozen vegetables, whole grain wrap, brown rice, lentils, peas, beans, and even turkey. What were some of your My Plate meals? Is there any food that you considered that we may have forgot to mention? Let us know in the comment section below. As always, thank you for taking time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please reach out to one of our nutrition educators.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Jillian, and I'm a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. Today, we're going to talk about modifying recipes. There are simple changes you can make when cooking to reduce calories, saturated and trans fat, sodium or salt, and added sugars. Let's list some general tips to make your meals healthier. Cook with low-fat methods such as baking, broiling, boiling, steaming, or microwaving rather than frying. Season foods with herbs, spices, lime or lemon juice, and vinegar rather than salt. Use a little oil or spray oils instead of butter and stick margarine. Increase the amount of vegetables and/or fruits in a recipe. Remember, you want to fill half of your plate with vegetables and fruits. Take the skin off chicken and turkey pieces before cooking them to reduce the amount of saturated fats. Here's another tip. Reduce the amount of sugar in a recipe by 1/4 to 1/3. For example, if a recipe calls for 1 cup, use 2/3 cup. To enhance the flavor when sugar is reduced, add vanilla, cinnamon, or nutmeg. Let's do a lasagna example recipe makeover. On the left side is the old ingredient list, and on the right side is the new revised ingredient list. Instead of 1 box of lasagna noodles, use 1 box of whole wheat lasagna noodles. Instead of 1 pound of ground beef, use 1 pound of lean ground beef or lean ground turkey. Instead of 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms, increase your vegetables by using 12 ounces of sliced mushrooms. Instead of 16 ounces of spaghetti sauce, use 16 ounces of low sodium or no sugar added spaghetti sauce. Instead of salt, omit the salt. Instead of 1.5 cups of ricotta cheese, use 1.5 cups of part skim ricotta cheese. Instead of 2 cups of shredded Monterey Jack cheese, use 1 cup of reduced fat shredded Monterey Jack cheese. Instead of 3/4 cups grated Parmesan cheese, choose 1/2 cup of reduced fat grated Parmesan cheese. To access this recipe, use the link in the post description. Let's try to modify a recipe ourselves. We're going to do quesadillas. On the left side is the old ingredient list per quesadilla. The ingredients are 1 tortilla, 2 ounces of ground beef, 1/2 cup of grated cheddar cheese, 1/4 cup of cooked black beans or pinto beans, rinsed and drained, 1 tablespoon of chopped red bell pepper, 1 tablespoon of chopped red onion or green onion, 1 teaspoon of melted butter, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Go ahead, pause the video, and take a minute and see if you can come up with a new ingredient list for this recipe. Substitutions you can make are using 1 whole grain flour tortilla, 2 ounces of ground lean beef or ground lean turkey, 1/2 cup of grated low-fat cheddar cheese, 2 tablespoons of chopped red bell pepper, 2 tablespoons of chopped red onion or green onion, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of low-fat sour cream, and 1/2 teaspoon of seasonings of choice such as garlic powder or chili powder. Feel free to add salsa and guacamole to your new recipe. This is the recipe makeover card for quesadillas. In the top left-hand corner are the original recipe ingredients. In the top right-hand corner are substitutions that are made. On the lower half are the cooking instructions and any new cooking instructions if needed. Directions did not change for this new quesadilla recipe. Go ahead and try a recipe makeover with one of your favorite meals. To access this template, use the link in the post description. What recipe would you like to make over? Let us know in the comments section. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program through the PA Department of Human Services. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. Did you know that increasing physical activity is beneficial for our health? The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommends that everyone engage in regular physical activity for health benefits. Here are the recommendations for adults. If you are doing moderate activity, such as walking briskly, biking on flat ground, line dancing, or gardening, do at least 2 hours and 30 minutes a week. If you are doing vigorous activity, such as jumping rope, basketball, soccer, swimming laps, or aerobic exercise, do at least 1 hour and 15 minutes a week. Here's a tip. You can combine moderate and vigorous activities. In general, 1 minute of vigorous activity is equal to 2 minutes of moderate activity. Children need 60 minutes of physical activity each day. Here's another tip. Try to limit your screen time. Limit the amount of time you spend watching TV or using other media such as video games. This is especially important for children and adolescents. Use the time you watch TV to be physically active in front of the TV. Examples of this would be walking in place, doing jumping jacks, doing squats, and doing push-ups. Keep track of your physical activity and nutrition goals. Track your physical activity and take small steps to improve your eating habits. You can keep track with a journal or notebook, a website, or a mobile app. There are many different ways to get active. Let's list some. Walking and running, taking the stairs, weightlifting. You can even use objects around your house like lifting soup cans, jumping rope, and doing yoga and stretching. There are a lot of great yoga workouts to follow for free online. How do you like to stay physically active? Let us know in the comment section. The Presidential Activity Lifestyle Award is an awards program of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports and Nutrition that promotes physical activity and good nutrition. This 8-week program can help you maintain or improve your health and is a great way to help manage and reach your health goals. Use the link in the caption to learn more about this program. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program through the PA Department of Human Services.
Welcome back to our Eat Healthy, Be Active workshop. My name is Alicia and I am a nutrition educator with the CEO. Today is going to be called My Plate, My Wins. We are going to discuss 10 tips for My Plate. We want to use My Plate to build your healthy eating style and maintain it for a lifetime. Some overall goals for My Plate include choosing foods and beverages from each of the My Plate groups, limiting sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars, and starting with small changes. Tip number 1, find your healthy eating style. Eat a variety of foods so you get the calories and nutrients your body needs. My Plate's tips help you create your own healthy eating solution. My Wins. Tip number 2, make half your plate fruits and vegetables. It's important to eat a variety of colorful fruits and veggies because they provide vitamins and minerals and most are low in calories. Tip number 3, we want to focus on whole fruits. Choose whole fruits, fresh, frozen, canned, or dried. Enjoy fruit with your meals, as a snack, or as dessert. Tip number 4, vary your veggies. Add fresh, frozen, or canned vegetables to your salads, sides, or main dishes. Choose a variety of colorful vegetables prepared in healthful ways, steamed, sauteed, roasted, or raw. Tip number 5, make half your grains whole grains. We want to look for whole grains listed first or second on the ingredient list. Try oatmeal, popcorn, whole grain bread, and brown rice. We want to limit, though, our grain-based desserts and snacks, such as cakes, cookies, and pastries. Tip number 6, move to low-fat or fat-free milk and yogurt. Choose low-fat or fat-free milk, yogurt, and soy beverages to cut back on our saturated fat. Try to replace sour cream, and regular cheese with low-fat yogurt, milk, and cheese. Tip number 7, vary your protein. Mix up your protein foods to include seafood, beans and peas, unsalted nuts and seeds, soy products, eggs, and lean meats and poultry. Try your main dishes made with beans or seafood like tuna salad or bean chili. Tip number 8. Drink and eat beverages and food with less sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars. Use the nutrition facts label in the ingredient list to limit items high in sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars. Try to choose vegetable oil instead of butter, and oil-based sauces and dips instead of ones with butter, cream, or cheese. Tip number 9. Drink water instead of sugary drinks. Water is calorie-free. Non-diet soda, energy drinks or sports drinks, and other sugary beverages contain a lot of calories from the added sugar, and they have few nutrients. Tip number 10. Everything you eat and drink matters. The right mix of foods can help you be healthier now and in the future. Turn small changes into my plate, my wins. Which My Plate tip is your favorite tip? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you remember the 10 My Plate tips. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out to one of our nutrition educators. Have a great day.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Alana, and I am a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. For our recipe video today, I decided to modify a breakfast burrito recipe that I found online. My goals for this recipe are to decrease sodium and fat intake and increase intake of whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. In an effort to increase whole grains in this recipe, I am going to swap out the flour tortillas for whole wheat tortillas. Next, I'm going to swap out the refried beans for low sodium or no salt added canned black beans in order to decrease the sodium content. I also decided that in order to reduce the amount of fat in the original recipe, I'm going to choose a fat-free or low-fat cheese instead of a full-fat cheddar cheese. Lastly, I found that the original recipe was lacking in fruits and vegetables. I'm going to keep the tomato in this recipe, but I'm also going to add spinach to the burrito. Additionally, you could top the burrito with salsa or avocado and red onion. I'm also going to have a side of fresh fruit to increase my fruit intake with this recipe. Now that I showed you a few of the swaps and additions I would make to this recipe, allow me to demonstrate how to make these delicious breakfast burritos. Always remember to begin any recipe by first washing your hands using soap and warm water to ensure safe food preparation. You'll also want to wash any fresh produce that you'll be using for this recipe. Don't forget to also rinse the outside of your canned goods to remove any dirt from the can before opening. Although I'm using low-sodium canned black beans for this recipe, you should also always drain and thoroughly rinse your canned beans to remove excess sodium even further. Once we're finished over at the sink, we can grab the rest of our ingredients and begin making our breakfast burritos. Two eggs, 2 tablespoons of a reduced fat milk, salt, pepper, and chili powder to taste, half a teaspoon of oil, 2 10-inch whole wheat tortillas, half a cup of no salt added canned black beans, drained and rinsed, a 1/4 cup of reduced fat shredded cheddar cheese, half of a tomato chopped, a 1/4 cup of spinach. Mix eggs, milk, and seasonings in a bowl. Heat oil in a skillet over medium-high heat. Stir in the eggs and cook until firm. Wrap tortillas in foil and heat in the oven or warm on a griddle. Warm the black beans in a separate pan and mash to desired consistency. On each tortilla, layer black beans, eggs, cheese, tomato, and spinach. Roll the burrito, cut in half, and enjoy. Refrigerate any leftovers within 2 hours. Top with additional fruits and veggies, or enjoy on the side. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment on our posts or send our nutrition educators a direct message with any additional questions, comments, or concerns.
Let's wrap it up. Small changes can lead to big differences.
The Grand Canyon is 6 million years in the making.
The tall sequoia tree started as a small seedling.
The journey started with one small step.
A healthier you starts with small healthy changes.
But change is hard.
Yes, making changes can be difficult. Starting with small changes will make it a bit easier. Small changes can begin with modifying your favorite recipe to make it healthy, while keeping it tasty. Use My Plate to guide your recipe makeover. Start slow, make a few changes at a time that you can live with. Then, add another healthy habit. Here are some healthy habits to work towards.
If it has a grain, make it a whole grain.
Change up your protein. Choose low-fat options, and add seafood 2 times a week.
If the recipe calls for dairy, try a low or non-fat variety. Drink 2%, 1%, or skim milk.
on the vegetables and fruit. Add veggies to everything, and more than the recipe suggests.
Read the nutritional facts labels. Look for ingredients that are lower in sodium, has low saturated or trans fats, and no added sugar.
Reduce the sodium, but not the flavor, by learning how to cook with a variety of spices.
Modifying a recipe does not have to be scary.
A couple of small changes and this beef and cheese quesadilla was made healthier and yet, is still tasty.
And try to limit screen time and increase physical activity. Children require 60 minutes of physical activity a day and adults about 22 minutes a day. You too can make healthy and tasty family favorites everyone will enjoy. Start by changing 1 or 2 ingredients and build up to a full recipe makeover. Small, manageable changes will endure over time and make the big difference. Reduce screen time and increase physical activity.